What mistake should have killed you? One time when I was young and carefree, I was riding a motorcycle for maybe the second time, like 30 miles per hour, and just had some wires in my brain misfire. I was like, I wonder what would happen if I crossed my arms and held the left handlebar with my right hand, the right with my left? I'll tell you what happened. I just narrowly missed oncoming traffic and smacked right into a wall. Did that on a bike when I was young. After reading your comment, I'm happy it was just a bike. One could probably learn to do it, but I wouldn't recommend starting on a motorcycle. This is amazing. I stumbled through a bush which had a 1-meter drop after it where I fell down. I landed on my back at the only place down there which didn't have an iron pole sticking out of the ground. Were you chasing a baby? Thank you for my first metal kind stranger. This is an oddly specific question. True. But now I want to know the answer. True, Dad. So, you a baby chaser or nah? Why don't you have a seat over here? Retentioning a garage door spring and the tension tool popped out. The door crashed with enough force to crack the pavement. Edit, had no idea so many others have died doing this. Going forward would never do this again. When I was around 13, my mom bought this old house and asked me to clean out the garage. We didn't have a key, so I climbed in through the window and tried to open the garage door. It was an old one you manually opened. I crouched down and started pulling this thing up, and the top half came off the rails and swung down, hitting me right in the head. Woke up, who knows how long after, with a cut on my head and blood all over. Only time I've ever been knocked out cold. Turns out Mom knew it was broken and forgot to tell me. Damn it, Mom. That's one way to attempt a very late term abortion. Edit. Thanks for the silver, anonymous sugar daddy or sugar mommy. I remember organizing my room when I was 10 or so. I had a lava lamp on the verge of falling off my cabinet. I didn't notice until I heard a loud shatter on my floor. For some reason my brain thought it would be a good idea to pick up all the shards. I jabbed my foot with a huge piece of glass and passed out from the pain. Woke up in a hospital bed thinking it and realized the shard was gone from my foot, was stitched back up, and getting relieved looks from my family. Turns out when I passed out, I hit my head on the cement floor. I was living in my parents' basement, and cracked my skull partially open and was bleeding profusely. I got taken to the hospital. My family thought I was dead. Edit, concrete floor, not cement. Thanks for pointing out. Proof that cleaning your room is dangerous and should never be attempted except by trained professionals. Edit, I feel like a poser over receiving silver for this. I had major issues keeping my room clean as a kid, to the point where it was a biannual 2-day undertaking, but I've since become a more organized person. I'm sorry for pretending to be someone I'm not on the internet. I need to go to my room and think about what I've done. Trained professionals being mom and dad. Taking on a plus 70 hours a week job just for the money. I hated the job, I hated my boss, and I hated myself. I could not look myself in the mirror anymore. I was this close to a heart attack, gained 60 kilograms and could hardly sleep, but every month plus $12,000 on the bank account made me get up again and again. My wife said, either you quit or I walk. Really saved my life. Your wife did you a solid there. No job is worth killing yourself over. Dove into a pool and broke my neck at the C2 level, hangman fracture it's called. Hashtag X200B, I was so drunk I thought I just pulled a muscle or something, so I kept partying. There's pictures of me with a bag of frozen peas on my neck grilling, taking a shot from an ice luge, etc., all while my ducking neck was broken. Once the disc popped out because I was playing chicken with someone on my shoulders in the same pool hours later. That's when I realized that maybe something was wrong. Hashtag X200B, 1 emergency spinal fusion surgery, 5 days in the hospital, 3 months bedridden, medical discharge from the army, rip that career, and I'm good as new. I totally should be dead or paralyzed. Hashtag X200B, edit, I also have a pretty gnarly x-ray showing the plate and screws. Here's the link: X-ray C2 C3 fusion. Pissing off a cliff, wasted on Jack Daniels. My girlfriend at the time pulled me back by my sweatshirt, or that would have been it. There's a book called Death in the Grand Canyon about all the ways people have died there. Peeing off the edge is up there in the most common ways to die. Wasn't there also a guy who jumped onto a pinnacle to gather the good luck coins people had thrown there over years? He got there fine. On the way back, the weight of his sack, snigger, pulled him back over the edge as he landed. There was one where a guy went to prank his kid by yelling, "Hey, watch this," and jumping off the edge onto a ledge a few feet below. Ledge gave way underneath him. Imagine how much that'd duck up the kid. Shit. Your dad just looks at you and says, "Hey, watch this," and then commits suicide. Not wearing a helmet while on a bicycle and stupidly turning left just as a car overtook me. Somehow I only got a neat scar through my eyebrow and some torn up kneecaps from it. But the look on my mother's face when she picked me up from the hospital, that made me realize how profoundly stupid I was that day. Edit, I did make a turn signal with my arm, but the driver apparently didn't see it. He later went over to the hospital to ask if I was okay and to apologize for hitting me. Whoa. I know someone with a nearly identical story. He has a rock embedded in his eyebrow scar. It's funny how a human body at times can be like this belongs here now. While at other times it will do everything it can to work that foreign thing out. I've had staples in my belly twice after abdominal surgeries. I was told the staples themselves shouldn't leave scars, but I have a line of tiny dots on either side of my scar. The first time, they had trouble pulling the staples out because my skin grew onto them. The second time, they had me come in a little earlier to get them out but only got half out because it hurt too much. When I went back a couple days later, they had to cut 2 out of my belly button because the skin grew over them. Passed out in the woods after running from the cops. I was at a party in college and decided I was done, so I started walking home. Got like half a mile from campus when a cop pulled over to talk to me. It was like 3 a.m. and my drunk ass can't walk in a straight line on the sidewalk. #X200B. My instant drunk reaction to seeing the blue lights was to bolt into the woods at full speed. Naturally, I can't see what obstacles are in my way, so at some point I had tried to either climb a fence or ran through thorn bushes. Eventually I ran headfirst into a tree and fell down. I had probably the most absurd thought I've ever had. If I hold my breath, the cops can't see where I am. So I did that and passed out while lying on my back in the woods. #X200B. I woke up a few hours later as the sun was coming up and realized I had shredded my clothes and my face arms looked like I had been attacked by an animal with all the scratches. The worst one being a vertical cut that went lengthwise down the interior of my forearm, starting at my wrist. This was 12 years ago and I can still see the scar from that particular cut. The rest have healed and faded, but that one is still prominent. Had that been a little deeper, I have no doubt I would have bled out while lying on the ground in the woods if I didn't already die from alcohol poisoning. #X200B. There were probably 3 or 4 things that should have killed me that night but didn't. If I hold my breath, the cops can't see where I am. Lol. I nearly fell into a ducking volcano leaning on a rope fence. Edit. Holy shit, this comment blew up. Right, more context, I was 8 to 9 at the time, and I managed to catch myself on that same fence after I nearly keeled over it. I never let go of stuff when I fall. This was in Italy, hence the lack of actual safety procedures. The next year's harvest in the nearest town would have been amazing. Glad you're still here, that's a pretty epic one. Edit, I'll tell the village about this gold, and maybe we won't have to build the Wicker Man this year. Tubing behind a speedboat. Pulled myself too far forward. It submarined and popped up in the air. I was flung forward and got tangled in the tow rope. Feck. I was tubing in a double tube, when the tow snapped. I was launched sidewise over my partner, and skipped once won the water. Not injured, it was funny. But now I realize how bad it could have gone. As teenagers we used to smoke pot in the garage in the car with it running for hours. No idea how we didn't kill everyone in the house multiple times over. Why the running car? Too hot with the windows up, was our thinking at the time. Windows down and everyone would smell us. We needed AC. They still smelled you. Without a doubt.